This video is about dividing by a monomial. So again, monomial means one term. So we want to divide some sort of polynomial by a monomial. So let's take a look at some examples. So this time they're going to say find the quotient So remember, the word quotient is usually associated with dividing. And so we're going to have negative 10 d to the fourth, e to the third, f to the fifth, divided by 15d squared, e squared, So how do we divide these? Well, if we write them more like a fraction, then we can kind of see which terms belong with which terms. So we do this in pieces. 10 divided by 15 doesn't actually divide, so we want to simplify that as much as possible. So we have to figure out what number goes into both evenly, and we know 5 goes into both. So if we divide 10 divided by 5, we get negative 2, and the 15 divided by 5, we get a 3. Now, how do we divide the others? Well, the short version is that we subtract the exponents. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So we have a d squared on top. Then our e's, we have e cubed and e squared. 3 minus 2 is 1. So e to the 1 or e. And then after the 5, don't forget there's a 1 there. So 5 minus 1 is 4. And so this looks kind of funny that there's only a 3 on the bottom. So we could rewrite this as negative 2/3 d squared e f to the fourth. Either way is a perfectly good answer. Next example, find the quotient, 18x to the fifth plus 6x to the fourth minus 12x cubed, and we're going to divide that by 6x squared. So if I wrote this as a fraction form, it would look like this. And that seems kind of cumbersome too. So all of these look a little bit difficult to work with. However, what happens is I end up looking at each term. So there's 3 terms in this one, and I want to divide each one individually. So I could write it as 18x to the fifth divided by 6x squared plus 6x to the fourth divided by 6x squared minus 12x cubed divided by 6x squared, and then simplify each one individually. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, and x to the fifth divided by x squared means I subtract those, so 5 minus 2 is 3, so x cubed. 6 divided by 6 is 1. X to the fourth divided by x squared is x squared. And then 12 divided by 6 is 2. And x to the third divided by x squared is just x. And so here's our final answer. And last example. We're going to simplify this time. So again, order of operations, still got to use it, no matter what we are given. 7 minus 3 times n cubed plus 8n divided by negative n plus 9n squared. Okay, parentheses first. When we look at this, our innermost parentheses, we have 2. So this one right here, there's nothing to do in there because it's just parentheses to show us it's a negative for clarification. This one, we can't do anything because they're not like terms. So nothing to do there. So we look at the brackets, this whole thing, and ask ourselves, what can we do first? Well, notice we have division in there and addition. And according to our order of operations, we have to do division first. So this is where we start, and we're going to divide those. Now remember, we're dividing each term individually. So it'd be n cubed divided by a negative n, and 8n divided by a negative n. All right, so there's a 1 there. N cubed divided by n to the 1. We're going to subtract those, gives us negative n squared. And 8n divided by negative n, so those cancel, which gives us negative 8. All right. Give us more room to work here. So what do we have? We have 7 minus 3 times negative n squared minus 8 plus 9n squared. Okay, now let's see what's next. So we're still in the brackets, and we have subtraction and addition in the same. We can only combine like terms, but we see that these two are alike. So we have 7 minus 3 times negative 1n plus 9n squared. So negative 1 plus 9 gives us 8n squared minus 8. Our next step is to distribute the 3. 3 times all of that. So we have 7 minus, so 3 times 8n squared gives us 24n squared. And 3 times 8, so it's a negative times a negative makes a positive. 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, and now last but not least, we just have to combine any like terms. These guys are alike. So we're going to write these in descending order. So negative 24n squared. And then we need to know what 7 plus 24 is. And you can use your calculator if you need to. But we get 31. And so there's our final answer. Alright, that's it for this video. As you work through your lesson, if you have any questions, be sure to ask your teacher. Have a great day.